Welcome back to the Triple M podcast where we talk about movement, mindset, and motivation. So, in today's episode, we're going to be speaking about how motivation by itself is something that generally will fail and come to an end. So, I've definitely spoken about this before, and I don't like to sound like a broken record, but we have those feelings of excitement and motivation, especially in the fitness industry at the start of the year when it comes to January. Everyone has New Year's resolutions, can't speak, and they're feeling really inspired, really fired up to kind of make a change this year. And my sort of mindset, which you would have heard before on New Year's resolutions, is I like them, but I don't like them. What I like about them is that people are seeking and wanting to make positive changes in their lives. What I don't like is that they're at the same point every single year with their health. And it's just kind of like, you know what? We'll see how long it lasts. If it doesn't work, we'll sack it off. There's always next January. And with what I'd like to happen for people with New Year's resolutions is that for you to have something and some sort of inspiration to make a change and for you to be able to make it stick and make it last. And I said this in the last episode, slow is fast. And with those New Year's resolutions, with that energy, with that motivation, allow it to keep you going long term because that's how you're going to see results. And you can transform quickly, but a lot of the time, once you get something fast, it doesn't really last. And yeah, I'll come with the bars, man, you know me, but I'm not going to be on the rapping thing. But just think about your journeys long term and think about that motivation as a feeling that doesn't last. And it's important to kind of instill systems and actions to kind of enable your emotional state to stay stable. Because a lot of the time when people are motivated, they're doing really, really well. But once that emotional state changes and the balance kind of is thrown off, you'll start to take a downward trend and kind of take steps backward, which you don't want. So whatever your goal is, health, fitness, life, whatever it is, what I think helps to maintain that level of motivation is to have actions in place to enable your success, whether it's goals and targets. I don't necessarily, as I've kind of matured and gained more experience working with people and just kind of life and just going into a slightly different career now, it's important to have daily operations and targets and just actions to work towards because you're not going to be feeling yourself every day. You're not going to be feeling it every day. You're going to wake up some days you can't be bothered. Like for me, it happens a lot. But one thing that I feel like I do really well is I don't allow my feelings to determine my actions. And I don't mean to sound harsh there, but if you do, you're only going to do what you need to do when you're feeling it. And I feel like if you have that sort of mindset, you're not going to get anywhere. And it's not to be negative, but see it for yourself. Like ask yourself, once you've been motivated to do something, you're doing really, really well, you're being consistent. Once that feeling changes, everything changes. So it's important to kind of instill tasks. Like if you have a goal, necessarily try to disconnect from that goal and think, okay, what needs to be done to achieve that goal instead of actually just focusing on that picture. So let's say, for example, I have a client that wants to lose 10 kilos. Like with my skill set and my knowledge and my ability and my experience, I can help someone lose that in 5 to 10 weeks, no problem. Like that's how confident I am in myself. And it's possible because I've done it countless times and I'm not here to brag, but it's doable once you have the knowledge and you have the skill set and the practices that you put in place. But when I say that to people, they get, oh, quick. Oh, like they're really psyched up. But then I tell them what they need to do. And they don't necessarily lose inspiration, but they kind of, their emotions change a little bit. But what needs to be done in regards to that goal isn't complicated, but obviously it requires some effort. So if I was just to kind of give you a few base things and if you wanted to lose 10 kilos, you would obviously need to work out what your daily energy expenditure is. So then you're in a calorie deficit. So then you can start modifying your nutrition in line with fat loss. And it doesn't need to be a strict diet plan, but it needs to be a plan that you can stick to and you can maintain, because if you can't, I can give you the best diet program and the best and training program, but you're not going to succeed. You need to be able to stick to it. And I've never really been a very overly strict coach, because I've noticed that that doesn't work for a lot of people generally that I work with. But if, for example, in your nutritional plan, you have things that you like to eat and you enjoy, and they're healthy and they're in line with your goals, you're much more likely to stick to them to a longer period of time. Step count activity, 12 to 15,000 steps a day. If you're hitting your 10, fantastic, you're active. But what can be done to kind of bump that up a little bit? And that's for fat loss. Like if you want to lose a little bit of body weight a little bit faster, but like 10,000 steps is fine. You're active. You're doing 30 minutes to an hour of walking each day accumulated, which is fantastic. Then like a lot of people that want to lose fat, they don't just want to lose weight. They want to kind of see themselves tone up and shape and build those curves and build some muscle and improve how they look physically in the mirror. Train. Quality training 3 times a week. And I only say 3 times a week because then it gives you enough time to do other stuff. So like if you don't want to be stuck in the gym, you can go and play sports, you can go for a run, you can do some cardio. It gives you that flexibility to do other things. And if you wanted to do an extra session, you can. But if I tell you train 5 days a week, you're probably not going to be able to sustain it and stick to it long term. So 3 times a week is realistic. And if you train hard, especially with me, all of my clients can vouch, you're not going to want to train anymore. Not to scare anybody. Another thing that allows motivation to kind of stick and to not allow yourself to fail is appreciating the small wins along the way. Whether that's a weight drop, whether that's a personal record in the gym, whether that's seeing an improvement in yourself in the mirror, is going to help keep you motivated long term. And how you can do these things is to track. And when a lot of the time people hear the word track, they feel like it's obsessive and aggressive and it's too restricted, but it's not. Like for example, training tracking. You have a training program. You track the weights you lift. You track how many sets you do. You track how many reps you do. That's not obsessive. That's showing that you care about your improvement. And I kid you not, if you start following a training program and you see your numbers change and go up, you're going to feel motivated. And it's understanding and being mentally tough enough to know that it's not always going to go up. There's going to be weeks that it stays the same. There's going to be weeks that it goes down. But there are going to be weeks that it goes up. And the key for it to be continuously going up is to track it. And where you are now in 6 months' time, what you probably were struggling with would be probably what you're warming up with. So it's important to appreciate your wins and look back. And like step tracking, really, really easy. Like iPhone, Apple Watch, fitness tracker, whatever you use, to kind of keep accountability to yourself on what your daily activity is and what your step count is. And lastly, on this point of motivation alone by itself fails, is be content but never satisfied. So like there's nothing wrong with being happy with where you are, but seeking and pushing and driving for more. And like a lot of people, you're never satisfied, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean I'm not happy though. Like I'm very happy with the way that I look and how I feel about myself. But that doesn't mean my progression and my journey has stopped. I still want to push for more. I'm still hungry for progression because I want to get to that next level for myself and not comparing yourself to other people. Like I don't care what other people are doing. They're not me and I don't want to be them. So, and you should think that as well. Just kind of like, there's nothing wrong with like, you know what, I'm doing really, really well. And it's when you start getting that bug of progression, you'll notice this if you train a lot and you see progress, you want more. But a lot of the time when people want more, where they get it confused is just because they want more, they're not happy with where they are. Be happy with where you are. If you've done well and you're seeing progression, like you're fantastic. You're moving in the right direction. But don't be satisfied. Push for more, fight for more. Like we live once. Like let's kind of be in that body and be in that mind frame and be in that state universally of where we want to be. And there's aspects of my life that I'm happy about. There's aspects of my life that I'm not necessarily happy about, but I'm not being negative about it because if I am, I'm not going to change it. But it's about taking those steps daily, weekly, monthly, yearly to see change. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in that same position. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated. If you enjoyed it, or if you're watching it on YouTube, please like, subscribe. Much appreciated. If you're on Spotify, you're listening, leave a review, share it with someone that you feel that would enjoy it. This podcast, guys, as I always say, is to the people, for the people. So if you have any suggestions of anything that you want me to talk about, feel free to hit me up, send an email, send a DM, leave a comment on the post or leave a comment on the YouTube video, and I'll be sure to at some point talk to it. But lots of things coming soon, so stay tuned.